I have a mother who is very caring and a father who is relatively very strict in my upbringing. So I learned a lot from my mother. She was the one who shaped my thinking, my understanding of my surroundings. But my father was ensured that he's a disciplinarian, so he ensured that I do things properly. I study hard for my in school and all that. Taught me the religion of Islam and what a Muslim is supposed to do, what is right, what is wrong, what constitutes a sin and what will give me merit in the afterlife. And generally, she shaped my understanding of the religion of Islam.
ماليزيا في ذلك الوقت كانت تخضع بشكل مباشر للاحتلال البريطاني حتى العام 1957. أنت تلقيت تعليمك في المدارس البريطانية، ما أثر ذلك على تكوينك العلمي والثقافي بعد ذلك؟
Thinking the ideas of the West influenced me quite a lot.
بأي شكل أثرت فيك؟
There were ideas about bravery, about honor and all that. I learned from reading storybooks written by English people.
ما أسباب ولعك في شبابك بالإنجليز وهم كانوا يحتلون بلدك ماليزيا؟
I read a lot of English books, including the history and also storybooks about Europe and England. And I came to admire many of their achievements. But of course, the stories they tell is biased in favor of their people. But at that time, that is my only source of knowledge through reading. When the British came, they introduced the Western form of government, and we find that it is much more orderly, and that it, in many ways, it benefits the country and the people much more than when we were under authoritarian rule by the ruler. So that to that extent, the organization introduced by the British into government is something that I think has benefited Malaysia. They were much more successful in applying the rule of law. There was no arbitrary action taken against anybody outside the law. And we were much richer because the collection of the taxes were much better, and revenue gain through taxes does not go to the ruler, it goes to the treasury of the state government.
متى شعرت أن عقلك وروحك تتحرران من الهيمنة والاستعمار البريطاني الذي سيطر على كثير من عقول الملايويين الذين تربوا ونشأوا في ظل الاستعمار البريطاني آنذاك؟
Well, as I grew up, I found that I did not like the way they treat us. They treat us as very inferior people. We have to call them masters all the time. And they live in a special place. They give themselves many privileges.
وكيف تمكن اليابانيون من إنجاز هذه الانتصارات الكبيرة والتوسع في هذه الرقعة الواسعة من البلاد؟
They were, I think, much better prepared than the British, because they had planned to conquer the territories colonized by the British because they needed the oil, the petroleum produced in these areas. The British had cut them off from the supply of petroleum, and of course this hurt their economy.
فرضت عليك الحياة بعدما تركت المدرسة اليابانية أن تعمل من أجل الحصول على لقمة العيش في سن مبكر. كيف كانت تجربتك في السعي على المعاش في ذلك الوقت؟
My father was a pensioner, government pensioner. During the Japanese period, he did not get his pension. So we were very poor indeed, and we have to learn to earn a living to support the family. So I decided to go into small business, firstly selling rice, and then opening a small stall to sell coffee and other food products, as well as to sell bananas in the marketplace.
ضغط البريطانيون لإنفاذ اتفاقيات اتحاد الملاي، لكنك تزعمت مجموعة آنذاك ترفض حق البريطانيين فرض الاتحاد. هل كان هذا بداية انخراطك في العمل السياسي الفعلي؟
And when we heard about this British plan to create the Malayan Union, we knew that they want to take over this country completely. Before they were in the Malay states by treaty. So they want to throw out that treaty and take over completely the ruling of this country. And that means that we would have lost our country to the British.
لماذا كنتم ترفضون الفكرة التي سعى البريطانيون لفرضها عام 1946؟
Well, if the British took over the total administration of this country, they would not do much for the indigenous people, the Malays, who were behind the Chinese and Indians in terms of their wealth, their economy, and the level of education that they had.
أنت أشرت في مذكراتك إلى أن هذه الفكرة التي سعى البريطانيون لفرضها عليكم بعد الحرب العالمية الثانية ولدت معها فكرة منح اليهود فلسطين واستجلابهم من كل الدنيا ليصبحوا هم ملاك فلسطين على حساب أهلها الأصليين، وهو ما أراده البريطانيون تماما للملايين أن تصبح ماليزيا مستوطنة دولية خاضعة لحكم البريطانيين، وتصبح الجنسية حق لكل من فيها حتى من غير أهلها.
Well, this is what happened to Palestine, which is similar to what the British seems to want to do in Malaysia. Palestine was an Arab country, largely peopled by Arab people, but the British wanted to bring in the Jews to live in Palestine, increase their number, and give them citizenship of Palestine, just as the Arabs who were there were citizens of Palestine.
عند منتصف ليل 31 أغسطس عام 1957 أنزل العلم البريطاني من أمام أمانة السر الفيدرالية في كوالالمبور. أعلن استقلال بلاد الملاي أو ماليزيا عن بريطانيا. كيف عشت هذه اللحظات؟
I was still in Alosta, but I was following the development in Kuala Lumpur, including, of course, the ceremony to lower the flag of the British and raise the Malaysian flag at that time. I was in Alosta, and in those days, communication was not so good. We could only hear on the radio because there was no television at that time. But in Alosta also there is a lot of celebration of the Independence Day. We had all the government buildings were all decorated and lighted up to celebrate Independence Day.